you all another great presentation as far as everything dealing with 4.5 and a recent comment that a subscriber gave to me by the name of JMod. And that comment spoke of the ladder and how important it is with all of this ancient knowledge. All right. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And what I wanted to show you all today was something called the Jacob's Ladder quilt. So when he mentioned something about the quilt, as you can see right there, what did you see? This is actually something, and I know that that's a typo, but the Jacob's Ladder quilt is something very near exact to my discovery when you look at it. This quilt pattern in particular shares the near exact same geometry of what you see here on the screen now, which is my discovery. And if you know anything about Freemasonry, when I showed y'all this back in the day, shout out to J-Ma right there. When I showed y'all this back in the day, I mentioned a lot about Freemasonry. I'm not a Freemason myself. I don't desire to be one either. But the fact is, at the end of the day, what I showed was factual. And I'm going to be teaching a couple of things here in this video about that. I need to plug my charger up first because this might go off on me. I hope that it doesn't. But let me go ahead and do this here. And hopefully I don't die off in this video with the phone percentage. I'm going to cut my brightness down a little bit so it can stay going. But here you have something called the Jacob's Ladder quilt. The differentiation between this quilt is, like I've been showing y'all, the count. You don't get the exact same count as my discovery. You got 0 will be right here as the first step, 1, 2, 3. But by the time you get to 2 on my work, as you can see right here, that's where you have the X in the center start to be made. That X in the center is very key to the whole discovery in itself. That's what made the ability to put it over the Nazca lines and decrypt the Nazca lines what it is. If I had never discovered what you see in the center of the screen right there, the Nazca star that you see that I've shown y'all many times, you wouldn't be able to put that, and I need to show what I'm saying as I'm speaking. Because some people, when they watch this video, might not know what the Nazca star is. I always try to put myself in the mindset of a new viewer. So the Nazca Sun Star that I was just speaking of, you see that open box right there? Those are 4 and 5, 4 and 5. But it's the bottom of the 4 and 5 and the top of the 4 and 5 coming together in the center based on this right here. You see how at the bottom the 9 and 0 have a 4 and 5 at the top, and then the 9 and 0 in the center on the top, as far as the big squares, have 4 and 5 at the bottom. And they're connected. So that's creating that open box that you see right here. That's the solution to the Nazca Sun Star. And without that box, or the 1 and 8 and 0 and 9, 0 and 9, 1 and 8 there in the center, you wouldn't be able to make those touch like you do right there, because it doesn't do that on the outside. And if you take away that inside, like I just said, all you are left with is the outside. So you would have no way of creating it, because the way that you create that is through creating the inside, which is the X that's shown. That's the wrong browser. So what you have right there is the Nazca Sun Star, which is only able to be what it is because of the central aspect of my discovery. And I promise I don't be trying to sound smart and stuff like that, but I'm trying to make for sure that if you're really trying to take off with what you're doing and everything, everybody out here, it's not to be fake. I'm just mentioning what I'm mentioning right now because it's not to be fake or anything, man. I don't want to just teach like in a nigga voice like that, because then somebody could see my stuff that really, I just want to be neutral, okay? So that all audiences could appeal to what it is that I'm showing. I don't want to be too niggified, and I don't want to be too preppy and perfect. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm just chill with it, and I'm trying to make for sure that my speech is clearly understood on the behalf of both sides of, you know, just the fence, period. So As you continue to look at other depictions of the Jacob's Ladder quilt, you see the same thing going on. The mathematics is so important. Now you do see the 5 count here with this one, as far as the inner, that you see that blue, the 2 blue, right there where that arrow, the corner is of the diamond, and you start counting from there, and you literally got my discovery right there, pretty much. But this 4 square that you see right there in the center of the screen is not the exact same discovery. You have to, the arrangement matters so much. So it's not the exact same thing just because it looks similar. The arrangement matters. That's what makes my discovery what it is. Now, going on into Freemasonry, like I was trying to show you all, Freemasonry has something called the Jacob's Ladder. This is a tracing board. This is for the 1st degree. So, with the Jacob's Ladder, what I showed in the past was there are 2 sides to everything. Everything has a component to bounce off of. You got a sun and you got a moon. You got a left and you got a right. You got an east, you got a west, you got a north, you got a south. You got all of these components that go together. You got a 4 and you got a 5. And that's what I was literally showing y'all. You got a 3 and you got a 6. 3 and 6 equal 9, and that's the key to the universe. They say 3, 6, and 9 is the key to the universe. 3 and 6 equal 9. And there you go. The key to the universe. 2 and 7 equal 9. And of course the 0, not to mention, when it comes to 0, 3, 6, and 9 is a true way to do it. But 0 and 9. Now with Freemasonry, what I was showing you all was there's a place called Madame Soleil. And with my book that I had wrote, let me go to my notes real quick. If my book is even there, I don't even think my book is there because this is a new phone. So don't worry about that. Actually, I'm going to go to my drive. I don't know if it's here in this one or not. I don't think it is. Nope. The book is not written or posted here. Nah. Okay, well, because I was trying to show a particular one. I don't think I'm on the right Instagram either, so I don't really want to open that either. But, I don't want to pull up a bunch of girls and shit like that in the middle of a stream. You know what I mean? Because, man, Corey love the fuck out of girls. Well, I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you, boy. It ain't about being, and I don't do none of that weird shit either. I'm talking about, I love the artistic features, drawing women. I love the fuck out of that shit, bro. That's all I do in my time outside of this stuff here. The building that I'm supposed to be doing, my real purpose as a man with this shit here. Building a pyramid, those things like that, to clean water and stuff. That's the stuff that I literally live for. But what I love to do is draw the fuck out of women. It's the funnest thing to me. Straight up. I mean, a bunch of people are drawing pictures of nature, but you might be the first person to draw a girl. The first time in her life, she always gonna remember you. So that's why the fuck I love doing that. But anyway, to keep it focused with Freemasonry, Madame Soleil is what I'm gonna go to. Here in Madame Soleil, you see something. Now, understand that Freemasonry comes from stone masonry. Stone masons is what Freemasons come from. They tell you that operative and speculative. So an operative mason is one that works in operative masonry, such as stone masonry. A Freemason is a speculative mason. And so here you see the crow steps, but if I find a better picture, a more dead-on straight picture like this one right here, there's a reason why I'm showing you this right here. This right here is my discovery. You can take the bottom half of my discovery. When I made my discovery with Sanchez, when I was on Sanchez's channel, y'all saw me do it upward, which signifies heaven. This downward bottom half, or bottom half, is a delta. And that's what you see right there. If you could tilt it to a 45-degree angle and look at one of the squares, because you can't see the whole bottom half on my screen, look at this square right here where you see this at. When I remove this 0, tilt it to a 45-degree angle, and you can see everything that would be on the screen. Anyway, and that bottom half of that one is what you literally, from 9 all the way over here to 0, is literally what you would fit like a puzzle right in there. And the other part would stick up out of the top. Other half. So, my point in mentioning this is the earliest depiction of, actually, believe it or not, this is where the earliest depiction of this goes to. When I did all of the dates and history of everything, with my written book that I made, that's the earliest that this goes back to. And of course, yes, they have the upper half to them. When you look at that, they do. It's carved differently though. They don't have it perfectly as those metrics. They got 5 stairs, but it's more so at a 60-degree angle, like the compasses. So at the end of the day, literally, that's the earliest depiction of it. That's me, the Grand Pyramid of America. And Freemasonry, what you're looking at there, the point that I brought that up for was the fact that this deals with Freemasonry. This is the earliest depiction. Stone masons is where Freemasons come from. And those right there, what I'm showing you is the square. That's the square of Freemasonry. The square of Freemasonry has inch marks on it, or niche marks. And those niches are measurements. And they don't have numbers on them. And this is for a reason. And so at the end of the day, Masonic square and compass, there you are right there. So what I just showed you right here, if you put a compasses or compasses over that in the middle, that's what you got right there. Some people think that this down here might be a portal. These were built as tombs. Whenever you die, you're going through a portal to another existence. So that's why the symbology with death and how they treat the dead would have a lot to deal with going through a portal. If y'all, so that's something that I just look. The crazy thing is, my intelligence comes from self. I don't type any of this stuff up on the internet. I say things because I learn from the past. I build based on what's right in the past, and I utilize that information to know what's right in the present and future to help guide me. And that's not just to come out of my ass with stuff. That's because I know what I'm saying is right based on what I've taught myself and learned in the past and proven already. So the thing is, when you die, you're going through to another form of existence. Another example is the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is also said to be a tomb. Though y'all know, you have come with the assertions that it could be an energy dispersing machine of some sort. A tomb also, just like this, the likewise thing that they have is the tomb aspect of what they do, their function. Well, you have I think it's called the sarcophagus inside of the Great Pyramid, and that is like a portal kind of too. If you could understand, people don't know what this thing is right here for. They didn't find a mummy inside of that thing, but for whatever reason, just like the Goku episode where he went, if y'all ever watched Dragon Ball, not to be all around the place, but if you watch the anime Dragon Ball, there's an episode when he was a child becoming an adult. Right before he became an adult and got his powers, he went to Korin's Tower, and Korin's Tower had a pot that had liquid in it that you could look into, and you could fall into it and it would take you in, like a portal, to a different existence. And if you could fight through whatever that battle was that it took you through, that's where you acquire certain special powers. So I know that this is not real life, but that's just to help you understand this portal aspect of things, because meditation in Hinduism was the root of Dragon Ball. So at the end of the day, the Masonic square and compasses. Okay, it ain't gonna let me go back. You got 0 and 9. You got polar opposites, like I said, with everything in this universe. 0 and 9 are the first numbers that I made this discovery with. I said there's a polar opposite to everything in the universe, but what I also realized is that there's a central line. Yes, there are two opposites, but the central line that goes through everything is the most common thing. Because you can have two sides. I mean, for real, you got to really think about what I'm saying. Look at everything around you, for the most part, even what man creates. You could draw a straight line right through it and fold. It's called symmetry. And the creator built off of this too. But this is a vertical line. For whatever reason, this line is usually vertical. It's not one, when you fold yourself halfway, as they say, as above, so below, you don't get the exact same thing. But the as side, so to side is guaranteed in reality. Look at a tree, look at a mushroom, look at a dog, look at you. Look at everything in reality for the most part, and you're going to see this side to side fold. And that's what's going on with the square and compasses and the numbers we use in reality in itself. And upon me realizing that, I said this line that's in the center with 0 and 9, the 4.5, is constant. It's literally constant. It's 4 and 5 which are touching. 4.5 is halfway, the halfway direct point between 9 and 0. And then 4.5 plus 4.5 equals 9. And 4 plus 5 equals 9. It's just the weirdest shit. And all of them added together equal 45. I mean, it's just the weirdest, most constant, unbreakable thing that I ever, it was the weirdest thing that I ever came across, bro. I mean, it's the dopest, weirdest shit that every time that I speak of it, it's like going through it again. It's real crazy. But the fact is, when you look at the compasses that you put over the square, they usually have a 45, and when you use the navigational compasses even, it's built based off of the 45-degree angle, if you understand that. So both the compasses that you see on the square and compasses and the navigational compasses have one thing in common, and that's the 45-degree angle. So, besides that, when he said what he said about the ladder, the brother J-Mod, what he said about the ladder specifically, the Chicana, what happens when you take the Chicana, the stair step, which he was speaking of, and add it with another Chicana, you get a literal ladder. And I'm going to go into this some more too. You get a ladder. You see these numbers here, how you count them? I'll show you how that's a ladder here in just a second. But the bridge is very similar to a ladder. It's like a horizontal ladder, if you understand that. A ladder helps you get from on the ground to a place upward that you cannot reach without. That's what a ladder does, right? A bridge also helps you get to a place that you cannot reach without it. So that's why you could take a ladder, and if it were like a horizontal or vertical bridge, you would take a ladder if it could fit the length of a distance that you couldn't get to and were sturdy enough. You could take a ladder and lay it horizontal and use it as a bridge. So they got the same function. A bridge is basically a horizontal ladder. and the ladder is a vertical bridge, pretty much. That's something new that I just came with too, of realization. But that's why they both help you cross over. But the fact is, the Chicana itself is a bridge or a ladder, Jacob's ladder. And it helps you understand and merge the two different realities, the spiritual world and the physical world. Because these numbers are something that both sides, when you look at a spirit, it goes based on this. It has two sides too. When you look and see a spirit, they don't have 3 eyes and 6 arms and stuff like that. They got a symmetry to them too. So numbers still apply in that world the same way that they apply here. That's just a fact. So the Chicana, as you've been shown, is that this is a 5-step Chicana. Right here it'll show you, does the Chicana have 5 steps? No, the Chicana generally has 3 steps. And that's what I'm trying to help y'all understand. It's just like, and it does matter. It's just like the letter E has 3 prongs. If you add a prong to that, ain't nobody gonna know that that's no letter E. That ain't what we write the letter E like. That's why the letter F has 2 prongs and the letter E has 3. The differentiation between the two is very important. And it's the same thing with this. It's a language, a mathematical, a numerical language. They are not the same thing. That's why they can't carry out the same function with math. They're not the same thing. And so they shouldn't be treated like it. And so the Chicana, they're not going against each other either. All alphabet work together so that you can speak. Just like all of the numbers, they don't go against each other. They're a family. They're tight-knit, tightly woven, like a quilt. They work together too. And it's no different than the Chicana. Yes, it's a different symbol than what I discovered and what my ancients discovered, but somehow apparently it got lost because they knew of this is what I'm showing you potentially. I just can't actually place it on that they knew this because you don't see the numbers, the explanation anywhere on the earth. You see the outline and you see the inside even with Angkor Wat and the Nazca Sun Star, but where are the numbers to explain that, okay, that's it? And that's what's crazy to me. It's real crazy. It's either at that point it's a secret because you didn't put it directly, or it was taken away. But that regardless, there's something special when you do that with something like that. Something special is something going on there. If it was that serious, I mean, goodness. So the Chicana, as you've been shown, has 3 steps. We were just talking about a bridge or a ladder. And that's where I need to go into my drive to show y'all as well when it comes to the ladder aspect of things. Yeah, that's it. So the ladder aspect of things, well, let me go back to this. The Chicana in a 3-dimensional aspect looks like this right here. It's an octahedron, but pixelated with cubes. And that's where you end up with this that you got as far as weed. The weed that you smoke all forms in fractal growth. It is shaped like that, usually. The center stem usually grows straight up. That's the line that you see from 0 and 9 to 4.5. But everything else grows just like you see there. The limbs at the bottom grow outward. And the center is the top, and it forms like a pyramid. Let's look at cannabis plants, actually. Excuse me for smacking the lip on accident. That was my bad. You see how that's shaped like an octa, and what I'm getting at is, it's fractal. The bud itself is a small plant. It's a small marijuana plant. It's a small thing of the whole thing. I'm trying to find a good one by itself. You see how this is here? Now, I didn't say that it has to be, every plant is not shaped the same. I mean, you wouldn't, all marijuana plants are shaped differently, just like human beings, look differently. But the overall shape to us is the same. When you outline us, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And it's no different with this. If you outline every single marijuana plant, they have without topping it, they have a highest peak, and then you could draw a triangle around each side, and then when you get to the lowest branch, that's where you have to go down to and draw a line down to the stem where it starts at. And that's where you end up with a diamond, the octahedron. And so what I was showing you is the fact that this right here is a ladder. The way that this grows, like you see the Fibonacci sequence, the way that cannabis grows is in the growth pattern of this right here, a ladder. So the numbers that you see proceeding upwards, that's how it's a spiral too. You see how the numbers are spiraling? If you pay attention to the numbers, going around and like DNA, that's what's going on there with cannabis. It's not the only plant that grows like that, of course, but it's a plant that I chose to study to help me understand my work. Something that I saw commonality in. That's why I also made this diagram, because when I was studying it here too, when you look at cannabis, the way that it grows, it starts off with one, and then it starts off with, and goes to 3 petals, and then 5 fingers or petals, and then 7 petals. It grows in odd numbers. And that helped me realize something about my work when I did that. It also grows, the bifurcation aspect of it, the splitting off in tubes, that's how it grows. And that's what my numbers do as well. So, and that's a fractal that grows within itself. So at the end of the day, the big tree as itself is that it's right there. The full-grown cannabis tree. Excuse me. And then here I wrote, every single plant is like a universe. Each plant then produces millions of calyxes, which are seed pods that we smoke for new plants / new universes to be birthed. Everything being planned is proving the fractal nature. Everything being explained is proving the fractal nature of our universe, which can be comprehended to the fullest and deeper if you study plants. So, in my plant of choosing, I learn from on a higher level happens to be cannabis. This is old stuff. This is all my old, I got thousands of pictures in here, and this is all my old work. And so that's why I say the stuff that I've done over time, I ain't did nothing but great work over time. And I get none of this from the internet. I'm using my work, so I can't get it from the internet. I'm learning from myself, in nature, really. And so, this is the earth chakra. So last year, you had the lime green. It's a ladder, right? We're talking about. And so you're going up with the chakras, we're going up a ladder, is what I'm doing. So this year, the color of the year, like I told y'all, is sky blue. I told people the color of the year was lime green last year because I was on my lime chakra last year. Every year I incline and change the color or the chakra by default. And so TikTok, the CEO of TikTok, I literally showed y'all a video that lime green, for the end of 2024, they showed lime green as the color of the year. What are the odds of that? That's more watched than YouTube now. That's the most played on platform out here. And they even vouched for lime green, chose that shit as the color of the year. What are the odds? This year, the color of the year, Google ain't what matter. This year, the color of the year is sky blue. That's because I'm not trying to run nothing, but for me, it's sky blue. And it's pretty girls out here that have been wearing the fuck out of sky blue this year. And I'm not lying about that. They've been wearing Hello Kitty. The Kitty Girls, which is my anime that I've been showing y'all, that's why they doing it. The leopard print, which is literally, I didn't get this from watching them wear this shit. I've been doing this shit and set out to do this shit. And so all of the prints, the kitty prints that they wearing, there you go. But yeah, kitty, cat prints. That's because of me. I could not lie. I ain't got no reason to lie. I'm showing you proof of everything else. I ain't got no reason to lie about that. I don't care how crazy it might seem. I know that that's the whole world wearing leopard print. Whole world, right? Right, for real. And was calling leopard print, cheetah print and everything like that. Shit crazy. But I ain't lying. Serious than a motherfucker. That shit, because I like that. That shit dope. That's better than being a sex trafficker. Sex traffickers take hold and captive of women and shit like that. They love women bodies. They love the bodies, but they don't love the women in them, inside of them, what they are. They don't want to do something to help them. And they take advantage of them. And here I am, myself, I'm making that anime because the women, all of this stuff that I'm showing right here with the pyramid to be built and stuff like that, they not going to jump into that. They don't want to hear about that every day. They're not in beauty shops talking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I acknowledge that. And so I wanted to create a way for them to be able to know about self-defense, because that's what the anime like Dragon Ball Z is going to help them see they self doing. Influence them to know that a woman can be strong. You ain't got to be buff, but be strong. And intelligent as well, which is the main thing. That's going to influence them to change their choice of man as well too. Quit choosing these dumbass dudes just because you think they tough because they toting a gun. If you got you a smart dude, you'll be in a way better position. Somebody who can outsmart. The realest man, the best man ain't the strongest man or the man that got the guns, but the smartest man that can outsmart a situation. Think the smartest. That's who's running the hood. It's the smartest dude. It ain't the dumb dude. Because I guarantee you the dumb dude gonna get everybody locked the fuck up. You ain't gonna be able to get away with no crime, sell no drugs, because this motherfucker too dumb. So therefore, you got to be smart. The smart one is who's going to run the hood or any situation as a man. Whether it's jail or whether it's the military, it's the smartest person who is going to have the best way of structuring things. They know how to structure things better. They know how to react better to situations. They smarter. That's what makes you better and more suitable of being a better choice as a man for a woman, is being intelligent and keeping yourself, being smart enough to know how to keep yourself looking better and stuff like that. Because if I ain't had this spirit fucking with me, wouldn't no teeth be knocked out my fucking mouth. My hair would probably be looking better and shit like that because I ain't sitting up fighting it off and shit like that all day. I wouldn't look as stressed. I would be able to present myself better. So I do everything that I do for them women, man. And the men out here, it's about working together. That's what I'm trying to teach men. But you can't teach no man like in this world, is what I realize. They too strung off on trying to run things they self and be it, because a man is said to be a leader, right? Well, what happened when everybody a leader? Ain't nobody following nobody. Everybody want to be the leader now. Now it's a fight over who's a leader. And you know, that's how men think you're supposed to fight and shit. And I'm not that type of man. The type of man I am, I'm the type of man that wants to fight against bad threats and work together with other men and part ways to go to my family, my beautiful wife and kids at the end of the day. But I'll work with you long as you got a righteous cause and fight against any threat that's to this earth and the well-being, the peace that men should be fighting to keep on this earth, not fighting each other and causing hell on earth. That's what I live for. I want to work with you if I need to, and then part ways with you, bro. Because I don't want to be, I'm not with that gay stuff. I don't want to be cuddled up and close to a dude and, you know, just, you know, all day. I can work with y'all, though. And that goes to any dude out here, bro. In the future, past or present. This is what I was saying about the, the compasses. These are the directions of the compasses. But as you can see, when you look at the increments 45, when you add 4 and 5, you get 9. 315, you got 4, and then you got 5. It adds up to be 9, but you have to look at those first 2 digits, which add up to be 4, and then you get 5 as the last digit. Over here, you got a blue 2 plus 2 equals 4, then you got 5 as the last digit. Over here, you got 1 plus 3 equals 4, and 5 as the last digit. And so those are the sectors of the intermediate directions still reflecting 4 and 5. At all of the 45-degree angles, you got 0 through, you got 9, you got 0, you got 27, which is 9, 180. But at the intermediate directions, that's which are northeast, northwest, southwest, and southeast, you literally have 4 and 5 there. At the 45-degree angle sections or intermediate / 45, you got 4 and 5. It's a constant, man. I cannot get over how constant it is, bro. And that shit ain't no joke. The compasses, as you see, they be open, they right there around that 4 and 5. That's what's surrounding it. The 120 and the 150. That's the open compasses right there. So, I mean, come on. I mean, you got the square, which is also, it's inverted. You got the compasses right there, but the square is a 0 and 90. It's right there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's just crazy, you know, how, you know, excuse me with the, you know. I just enjoy teaching this shit, and I'm gonna work on the cussing and all of that stuff. It's just amazing to me, man. I really want this stuff to reach who it needs to and grow, man. It deals with too much real, and nobody could say, what does it apply to? If you work in any type of, shout out to J-Ma, construction, he knows you got to use angles when you construct something. And if you don't get your angle right on a lot of stuff, it can mess up some stuff for real. You talking about unlevel floors, that got to be at a perfect 90-degree angle. You talking about the carpentry with stuff, that's all angle. It better be right. So that's just one form, one sector. But everywhere else, y'all work jobs, so y'all have to understand, you can't get mad at somebody like me and say, you know, where can I use it? Okay, you made a discovery in numbers, but where can I use it in my life? How does it apply to me? How does it help me in life? You got to understand that if you work in a job, I don't know what your job might be, and I'm not downing you either for working a job. I understand people doing what they got to do, and everybody has not found their talent and capitalized off of it. But the fact is, that's part of what's keeping you from using stuff like that. If you had to build every day and create things yourself, you would have to use that. You seriously would. Angles, numbers more so, you would. You would have to measure out things yourself. If you had your own business, now you're using numbers a lot more than using a calculator at work. You know, straight up. Angles or anything. Building your own shed at your house and stuff like that. Instead of going to work and buying the shed, there you go. The honest to God truth, you'll be using them more. So when you work these jobs, it pulls away from what you would, the natural life that you would be using. Straight up. That's real talk. Boy. You want to know what helped me make a discovery like that? I ain't gonna lie to you. Weed. It's how you think when you smoke weed. Quit thinking bad. Quit thinking that it don't help. If you think that it don't help you, I promise you're not thinking about the right stuff. You got the, before you smoke, y'all ain't got the shit that I'm dealing with. Please, bro. One thing that would make me happy, bro, you ain't got this spirit messing with you. If you smoke, bro, don't be paranoid to think about no crazy shit. All that you got to do to help yourself with paranoia is get in your mind into something that makes you happy. You ain't gonna be paranoid no more. That you can learn from and use your mind for something good. Literally, because that's what the fuck I do, and I've done. I smoke and I get to thinking bright. And I'm not fucking playing, bro. I done had some times, boy. I mean, it could bring tears to that plant. It's the bomb, bro. Boy. So, I mean, shit. It helped me. It ain't hinder me in life. That's how I got this, and I can build a full empire off of it. Bigger than everything out here. And I'm not stretching. It take a smart mind to get what I'm saying. You could put this on clothes. I'm talking about building a pyramid. And I'm also doing the work to build a pyramid, which is making a blueprint. Like you see here. The design blueprint is right here. But I didn't stop there. I'm making a real metric-based blueprint, a floor plan for that. I'm engineering how to clean water with what you have here. So I'm taking it serious. And the fact is, with being in that field of construction, shout out to J Ma again, because he's in construction. All of your companies like Caterpillar and stuff like that, I could run my own construction company and have that logo right there. A quarrying company that quarry stones at that point when it comes to that building the pyramid. So then you got of course with that, see, it's how you think with the order of this stuff. That's why you gotta smoke, chill, and if you ain't got this thing bothering you, everything will be alright. I bullshit not. It ain't bothering me when I'm live, when I make these videos with y'all. That's the sad thing about it. You'll think I'm alright. I wish it was like this all the time. But back to my point. You make the correct order of choices, because literally if you did that construction company with having money invested, you can then go off and they're gonna be wearing your clothes at the construction company. People take different type of clothes and bring them in fashion. Mechanics, Dickies is a mechanic suit. They used to wear Dickie suits. That was made for mechanics, and people used to wear them. Throwbacks is made for football players and basketball players. They brought that in. Biker suits, biker jackets, they was wearing them at one point. And so it's a way to bring shit in as far as fashion even. So if I make the construction company, the workers will be wearing whatever it is that got the logo on it, and it could grow from there. The money that's got from there could start another fashion, there's a real fashion company. So now you got them two forms of avenue of money. You got a blueprint that could also be used and put in schools at that point, as far as its mathematical essence. The blueprint I'm talking about could be put in school for architecture, college campuses. But the numbers itself, as far as this discovery right here, as you can see, literally could be put in academic schools to help kids. They got something called the rounding mountain. And that rounding mountain, I know that if that could be put in schools, them learning their decimals and stuff like that, there you go. That's a decimal. That's how you learn negative numbers and positive numbers. You got all of that right there. You got a regular number line right there. You got the rounding numbers right there. And there's no way it wouldn't be useful in school for kids at that point. So you got that to where you could get money by putting it in school books. And the government at that point got to pay you as long as that's copyright, which I've copywritten my work. I sure have. There you go. I showed that it's copyright. I proved that. And so that's why I did that, because I know how valuable what I'm dealing with. If somebody was to catch on, it'll be somebody willing, if they realize that as long as you do the work with it, you good. You'll never have to work a job a day in your life. As soon as you make it with one right thing, everything else gonna knock down like dominoes, and you'll take over the whole earth. Cause everything I could kidnap. Everything is in stone already. I'm talking about building a pyramid with this design, but I'm showing you that it's already all over the earth. It's already all over the earth card. My discovery. For real. In India, the Chakana is 3-step, but they got the Ollantay Tambo. Look. That's what I was showing y'all with Ollantay Tambo. What do I, somebody from the outside, they'd be like, but they got the Ollantay Tambo. Look, Ollantay Tambo, what they call it, is the Chakana. But how many steps does it have? That's where I'm showing y'all what I'm showing you for a reason. It got 5. It's exactly this right here. Literally. So I'm trying to find the zoomed out because you'll see that this all goes together. It's a ladder. That's what that is. So when you zoom out, you can see that right there. That's what it really looks like. Zoom in close, and you can see up there at the top, it's got the exact same thing. So it's a ladder, and it's got 5 steps for each of it. It's just a chunk of my work. A fractal of my work is what that is. As if they could see in the future and knew about this discovery. Now what y'all have to understand is the numbers that we use are what's constant. But the symbols that we use to communicate the numbers, that changes throughout history. And that's why you would not see the numbers on these Chakanas. Because the steps, that is the number. Literally. Pretty amazing, man. For real, literally. So that's why you wouldn't see the numbers on it, because shit, this shit gonna change. India, when they write 0 through 9, they don't use the same symbols. China either. Egypt either. And so Mayan either. And so when in the future, if they seen these symbols here, if you think in the future, let's say I made this discovery. A 1,000 years from now, they look at this, they wouldn't be able to tell what the hell them symbols is. They could take a wise guess, but they couldn't tell what the fuck them symbols is. If everything, if an apocalyptic event happened and wiped everything off the earth, and they saw this, is that a part of the decoration or something? Is what they could think. You got to think from multiple perspectives. And so the best way, I got to create another depiction of it to actually make for sure that people understand that his number is actually putting the dots, because that is what, using dots. 1 dot is always going to be 1 dot. Anybody can get that. 2 dots is 2 dots. 3 dots is 3 dots. And they can see that it's inclining every time, instead of those numbers being right there and it being written symbols that they have to try to figure out what they are in the future. So there will be a redepiction. I've had to draw this thing so many times till it ain't funny. I don't even know how many times I've drawn out a template of this. But it can be tiring. And the fact is, in the future, they'll just have to print it out. That's what they're going to do. They can't get paid off of it, for sure. Because it's copywritten. So the only person who can get paid off of it is me. But what they will do is use it in books, and they can use it for academic purposes. Straight up. So I wanted to let this be the video today, man. I don't want to, keep on going on and on and on. I appreciate anybody who came through and watched the video, liked the video, and commented. And yeah, I don't know what that comment thing is about right there. You turn the comments off, I guess, but yeah, I'm gonna let that video end.